Ben Lord will start heat 1A from pole position. His qualifying time some 4/10 quicker than anybody else on the grid. He starts alongside the 1, 2, 3 of Rhys Stevenson, Richard Holmes Williams and Mick Lord on row 2, Will Lathrope and Jim Lovell on row 3. Row 4 sees Chase Collymore alongside Michael Med, Daniel Pearson and Ryan Clark round out the top 10, with Dan Merrin and Ty Butler behind on row 6. Row 7, Carl Sanders and Casey Hanby. They're in front of Scott McGibbon, Ross Richards, Oliver Linsall and Ian Rogerson on row 9. The top 20 completed by Darren Hall. He's alongside Jonathan Harrison, Simon Wadsworth and George Kelly. In 22nd, Gaz Pearson alongside Nathan Smith on row 12. Row 13, Brett Neeson is alongside Samuel Morrison, James Landamore and Joshua Crew. Round out another 28 bike bumper grid here at Ellough Park. Round number 4 of the Rich Energy British Mini Bike Championship. And as those bikes make their way round onto the grid, thank you very much for joining us on the Alpha Live YouTube channel and the multiple platforms on Facebook as well. You can also get live timing if you want to create yourself a virtual pit wall, as well as watching the coverage here. You can also get live timing at live.alphatiming.co.uk/BMB. That's live.alphatiming.co.uk/BMB. You can also find out more about the British Minibikes Championship at britishminibikes.com. That's britishminibikes.com. Where you will also be able to find on there details from all of the classes that we run in this fantastic championship. So if you are watching and want to find out a little bit more about the spec of the bikes, or you've got yourself a bike and want to know whether you can bring it and enter the British Mini Bikes Championship here at Ellough Park and all round the country, then have a quick look at britishminibikes.com. The next round of the championship will be at the end of the month as well. That will be over the weekend of the 26th and 27th of June. That will be coming from Clay Pigeon in Dorset. We are coming racing though in Heat A. The red light is already on, the red light is out, and it is go for Heat A as they run all the way down then into the Degner 1 hairpin. All of our riders making it through there cleanly. It's not the longest of runs. The pole sitter, as we've mentioned a couple of times, from the outside does have optimum track line, but doesn't necessarily have optimum track position though. Has still managed to make it work, has he? No, that's Rhys Stevenson in the 1, 2, 3 off the inside, so he's 1.5 metres further back, but he does have the track position down the inside into the Degner 1 and into the lead on the opening lap. So Ben Lord, who qualified on pole position 4/10 quicker than anybody else, now is in second place behind Rhys Stevenson in the 1:23. Round the final corner, and Lord is down. We've got a rider down on the outside. You might be able to catch it as well. Ben Lord, the 1:26. Well, it's Richard Holmes Williams actually, the 1:26. The pole sitter looks like he's dropped back already. He's down into third. Richard Holmes Williams on the 1:26 bike, pushing a little bit too much on the cold tyres on the opening lap and slides off at the final corner. He is back on the bike, which is pleasing to see, and he is back in the race. He's managed to get back up fairly quickly as well. He's only dropped down into 10th place, so it was a slide on the slow side. Certainly seen far worse in terms of riders coming off their bikes, but as the riders bounce their way over the curb there at Barney's, you can't put it too tight though. There's a huge pile of tyres on the inside. So, as we mentioned earlier, it's not that easy just to try and put yourself back in there. If you're side by side with a bike, it really is single file on exit. Stevenson then over the line on lap number 2 in front of Lord, Tyres, Lovell, Lathrope, Collymore, Lord, Mead, Pearson and Holmes Williams still in 10th place. Trying to get back into a rhythm on that bike that he slid off at the end of the opening lap. That on screen then is the exit to Holmes. You see quite a large runoff area of tarmac on the outside. Possibly the most forgiving corner on the track. You see a move there down the inside into Barney's. Quite right as well, you want to get that done early on in that corner. That one is the 226, is it? That's Lathrop. This is the battle then for 4th, 5th and 6th place with Lovell, Lathrop, Collymore and Lord. Looks like Lord as well has dropped down into 5th place. He was second on the previous lap, has dropped 3 places. Tyres, Lovell and Lathrop making their way through in the battle for 2nd place. So Stevenson then, having moved to the head of the back at the start of this race, is now moving off into the distance as Tyres as well has got a fairly comfortable second. The battle for 3rd though, Lovell, Lathrop, Lord and Collymore. So Ben Lord, who yesterday in terms of qualifying was by far the quickest rider here in Heat A, the Mini Bike 140, not having it all his own way on race day, down in 5th place, and in terms of his actual pace, struggling compared to his times of yesterday. Over the line then at half race distance, Lord has made up another place back up into 4th, but the top 10 as it stands at half race distance: Stevenson, Tyres, Lovell, Lord, Lathrop, Collymore, Mick Lord, Richard Holmes-Williams up into 8th, having dropped down into 10, Michael Med and Daniel Pearson, the top 10. As we said, we are beyond half race distance now. Stevenson's got a fairly comfortable lead out the front, and for the last few laps it's been steady at 1.5 seconds. Looks like now he's just settled himself into a nice rhythm and is holding it firm at the front. Tyres though behind sets a time 2/10 faster than anybody else, the best time of the race so far, but with half the race to go and 2/10 a lap might not be enough time to catch up onto the back of Stevenson. Once again though, fastest lap of the race for Ryan Tyres. He is closing in and he's chipping away at Rhys Stevenson on the 1-2-3 bike. Ryan Tyres behind him. Down now, the gap is 1.2 seconds. Might just about close in on the final lap. Will he be close enough to have a lunge into the final complex of corners? We'll find out in around about 2 minutes time, as Lovell there in the red, white and blue. The 94 has stopped. Is that the 84? Sorry, has stopped on the outside of the corner. He's got himself going again, which is pleasing to see. Looks like that could potentially be James Landemore, although he is shown as 2 laps down at the moment. Looks like got another rider off, at the 2 riders off actually, on the outside of Degner 1. There you see the yellow flag is out. That's going to negate any overtaking opportunities down into the first major braking point of the lap, as our leaders will come through. So the green is back out then from Marshall Coach 3. We're still covering that under a localised yellow on the outside, but that's going to negate overtaking opportunities to an extent for our riders. The final step on the metaphoric podium currently being held by Jim Lovell. He's holding off Ben Lord and Will Lathrop, and this has been an intense race-long battle, which originally saw Lord drop all the way down to 5th, having started on pole position. Didn't get the best of starts, came over the line at the end of the first lap in 3rd place behind Stevenson. The gap for the lead though now is down to less than 1/10 of a second almost. Stevenson and Tyres nose to tail on the final lap of the race. The battle for 3rd though continuing to rage on between Lovell, Lord and Lathrop. In front of them though, we'll try and keep an eye out of the combox window to see which of the 2 riders is going to come through at the head of the pack. It's still Stevenson as it stands, but all over the rear tyre is Ryan Tyres, trying to get a run down into the final complex of corners. There's a yellow flag out down there, which might mean he's not going to have an opportunity to get through unless he can make the move through on this final corner. There's the rider that's caused the yellow flag. It means we've got quite an anticlimactic end to this race, but nonetheless, Rhys Stevenson wins in Heat 1A of the Mini Bike 140 from Ryan Tyres, Jim Lovell, Ben Lord, Will Lathrop, Chase Collymore, Richard Holmes-Williams only making it back up into 7th place, having slipped off on the opening lap. Mick Lord, Michael Med and Daniel Pearson completing the top 10. Still waiting for a final few riders to come over to complete the top 15. Andrews, Riggy, Wadsworth Sanders and Cracknell then complete the top 15 on this class. Some fantastic battles all the way throughout that. The Lovell, Lord and Lathrop one for third place was enthralling, and right at the end Ryan Tyers closing right up onto the back of Rhys Stevenson. Thought he was going to make a move down the inside into the Alan Wones hairpin on the final lap. The yellow flag was out there, which meant he had to sit back, and the main real overtaking opportunity was gone for him. He has to settle for second place.